Welcome back to the Toronto Blue Jays 2020 Sim. I'm JayBlue, and we are really glad to be back. Hope you enjoyed the last episode with Josh Winkowski. If you haven't checked that out yet, go ahead. It's episode 25 on the GM Games channel. It's September 7th. It's the last day of the minor league season for most teams, especially the full season teams. The Vancouver Canadians have one more series to play, so we're going to try to go a little bit beyond just 1 week in this simulation. If you take a look at where we are right now, it is September 7th. The Toronto Blue Jays are 76 and 69, 7 games over 500, and we are 2 games out of a wildcard spot. But we do have a couple of teams to leapfrog. We are way behind the Tampa Bay Rays in the AL East. And you know, we've been scuffling a little bit. If we take a look at our schedule lately, scuffling a little bit. We played Tampa Bay on the weekend and won 1 out of 3 games in that series. So we've got a day off today. We're going to sim that right now. And we'll just check out what happened in the minors. We're going to take a look at the schedules. And the Buffalo Bisons won their last game. A horrible team, horrible season. They were 55 and 85, but they did salvage their last game of the season. Anthony Alford with a 2-for-5 game. Teoscar Hernandez hitting a home run. Reese McGuire hitting a home run. Patrick Kivlahan with a triple. But that finishes out the season for the Buffalo Bisons. James Dykstra giving up 3 runs in 4 2/3. Jackson McClelland giving up a run. Jake Petrichka giving up a run. Danny Jimenez giving up 2. Ty Tice giving up 3 walks in 2/3 of an inning. And Curtis Taylor finishing it off. Patrick Cantwell was injured. And Adam Lind, good old friend of the Blue Jays, Adam Lind ties the regular season game record with 5. 1 home run and 9 RBI in 135 at-bats in Triple-A. Okay, the mighty have fallen a little bit. 13-0 win for the New Hampshire Fisher Cats in their final game. They finish off 63 and 77. We'll have a much larger review of the minor leagues a little bit later, probably the next sim. We're going to focus on getting through a couple weeks in the majors in this one. But Ryan Noda here with a huge game, hitting 2 home runs, giving him 21 on the season. And despite staying under the Mendoza line, hitting 195, Noda actually had a 373 on base percentage, which is quite good, and a 382 slugging percentage. So some nice numbers there. Vinny Capra hits his 3rd home run of the season. Christian Williams finishes out a strong year, at least rate stats-wise. Logan Warmoth with another disappointing season. Demi Ormaloy finishes off strong, 2 for 3 with 2 walks. And Alejandro Kirk finishes off going 1 for 5. And Samad Taylor, he came up to Double-A for the last week of the season and went 2 for 5 in his final game. Graham Spraker, 6 2/3 strong innings, striking out 7. So nice cap it off to the season for him. Any injuries? Yeah, Christian Williams was injured. Again, we're not losing any games, so it doesn't really matter. Dunedin Blue Jays were finished their season already, and the Lansing Lugnuts finish off 66 and 74 with a 3-2 loss in 11 innings to the Great Lakes Loons. Hunter Steinmetz with a couple of hits, Jordan Groshans with a couple of hits, Brett Wright with a home run, Tanner Kerwer, Yorman Rodriguez both with a couple of hits each. Brandon Eisert, a strong start here, giving up 2 runs in 7 innings. Hansel Rodriguez, one of the guys we signed to a deal in order to sort of bolster our minor league pitching for next season. He had 2 solid innings. And then Vancouver didn't play today, and everybody else is finished. So we're going to go back to the Blue Jays and check out what happens here against the Baltimore Orioles with Nate Pearson on the mound to face John Means. And it's a win, 6-3 for the Blue Jays. Excellent work here. Nate Pearson, 7-4 on the season so far in 7 1/3, 2 hits, striking out 4, walking 2, allowing 1 run. So a nice line there for Nate Pearson. Trent Thornton gives up 2 runs out of the bullpen. Ken Giles, just a strikeout in that game. to get his 29th save. On the offense, Santiago Espinal with 2 hits. Remember, Bo Bichette is injured, so Santiago Espinal is getting a lot of playing time. Randall Grichuk here with his 32nd home run. J.D. Martinez with his 5th, going 2 for 4. Billy McKinney. Vlade Guerrero 1 for 5, and Danny Jansen 1 for 4. He's trying to inch his way back up to 200 by the end of the season. So there was a nice game. We'll simulate another one. We have on the mound for this one, Hyunjin Ryu against Wei-Yin Chen. And another win. And we've actually picked up a game here in the wild card. We just have to get past the Angels and the Indians to claim that second wild card spot. We're 2 games back in the loss column. So they have a couple games in hand, or at least the Indians do. And Ryu with a solid start, 7 2/3, 2 runs, 5 strikeouts. Ken Giles got a hold, and Wade Davis with the save. Nobody injured, thankfully. Randall Grichuk a couple more hits. Vlade Guerrero with 3 hits. Travis Shaw with 3 hits, including his 26th home run, and Caleb Joseph was behind the plate for that one. And Shaw had 2 doubles and the home run, so great game for Travis Shaw. All right, we have Tanner Roark on the mound against Irvin Santana. We've actually found a guy who has a higher ERA than than Roark, and that's Santana at 8.21. And the result, we have a personal message that Paul Elliott has decided to retire. And we have a new assessment of Ethan Scugia. And I did want to draw your attention. We did sign a potential prospect here, Scott Agar, potentially 2 stars. He is 16. He is now in our international complex. Not bad, but that contact, if that stays what it is, that contact potential is not going to get him to the major leagues. And you can see we have signed some of the guys we signed to minor league deals, and we are trying to get them all on extensions so that we can keep them around for next year, like Jake Brents. So Ken Giles sent us a message, and he wants to get a new deal done. We'll take care of all that in the off season. And it looks like Hunter Pence is going to retire. All right, here we are. We have Santiago Espinal is now injured. He is day-to-day for 2 weeks. And I'm going to check my injury list here just to see. Obviously, got to go to the Blue Jays. Active roster here. So, interestingly, we are at our limit for the... we're at our limit, and the thing is, if I put him on the injured list, who can I call up who's on the 40-man roster? Who's an infielder who's not on the major league team, and that's no one. So we don't really have a lot of guys. So I think we're going to just roll with it, and just going to roll with it. It's how significant is the injury? It's minimal influence running, so it's not going to be a big deal. So I think we're just going to ignore that for a while. We're going to have to fill this position in Bluefield in the off season. I do tend to like to do that a little bit earlier so that all the better candidates don't get signed by other teams. All right, we do have one team left in. Don't want to do that. We do have one team left in the minor leagues who had some games, and that was the Vancouver Canadians, who went on a bender here and lost all 3 of their games. We did get a home run from Nick Gonzalez, who was 1 for 4. Spencer Horwitz was 2 for 3. And on the mound, Ethan Smith giving up 6 runs, Andrew McInvale with a solid relief outing, and Colton Laws. The Blue Jays have 2 guys with very similar names, Connor Law and Colton Law, or Colton Laws and Connor Law. Very, very similar names for those 2 guys. They're very different pitchers, of course, but very different, very similar names. Scotty Bradley here, 3 for 4. Really nice game with a double and a home run. 2 hits for Rafael Lantigua. Ryan Sloniger with a hit and 2 walks. Gabriel Ponce, 6 runs, but none of them were earned. 4 hits and 1 walk. We had an error from Jefferson Barreto. And usually if it's something like 6 runs allowed and none earned, or a low number of earned runs, probably meant that it was would have been the third out that was made, because whenever you make an error on what would have been a third out, all subsequent runs are unearned. And in the final game, we lose 8-3 to Everett. Offensively, Justin Ammons with a 3-for-5 game. Nick Gonzalez finishes out with 2 hits. Spencer Horowitz with another 2 hits, including another double. And Francisco Ruiz drove in a couple of runs with a double. Sem Roberts finished off the season giving up 6 runs in 2 innings. And Blake Sanderson got injured, and his diagnosis is pending. Lazaro Estrada, 2 runs in 2 2/3 innings. All right, so back to the major leagues. Blue Jays are sitting here having swept the Baltimore Orioles. You can see here, nice 3 wins in a row. Very nice to see. Now they have some tougher competition, and the Yankees. And the nice thing about playing the Yankees right now is if the Jays do really well, they are going to increase their lead on the Yankees significantly, and putting some space between them and any chance that the Yankees can sort of come up behind us and take that wild card spot that we're shooting for. As you can see here, we are half a game back now, with the Angels getting half a game of space between them and the Indians. All right, here we go. We are in the playoff race, and here comes the game with the Yankees. And it's a win, 5-2. Beauty game, guys. Vladimir Guerrero, 2 for 3 with a home run and a walk. Anthony Kay, 6 2/3 inning, 2 runs on 7 hits, 5 strikeouts for him, just 1 walk. Rafael Dolis, 1 1/3, and Ken Giles gets his 30th save of the season. No injuries. Vladdy was 2 for 3 with a walk and a home run. JD Martinez with a double and an RBI, 2 hits for him, 2 RBI for Kevin Biggio, who hit a home run. And Espinal was 1 for 4 despite his day-to-day injury. All right. So that was really nice. Let's see what that does to the playoff situation here. We are now tied for that second wild card spot. Houston Astros are 6 games up on it. Blue Jays are now tied for that second wild card spot with Cleveland. And we face the Yankees again. Now we've got Sean Reed-Foley against Domingo Germán. And it was another win, but we have Bo Bichette eligible to come off the injured list, as is Chase Anderson. So we're going to put both of them on the roster. What we're going to do here now, this is going to take some shuffling. Now with a 28-person roster, we're going to shuffle Santiago Espinal onto the injured list. Bichette comes off. Now Chase Anderson is going to have to take somebody's place. So I'm going to go to the pitching and see who we can. We're going to go to the major leagues to see who has what stats. So we're going to see who we can send down. We have Sean Reed-Foley here, who actually had a decent enough start to get us the win. We also have TJ Zoik on the roster, and he's been pretty bad. So that's going to make our decision pretty simple. So we're going to move him, and we're going to go back to the injured list, get Chase Anderson. And he's going to go into the rotation instead of Sean Reed-Foley. So I'm just going to go here into the pitching, get Chase Anderson, switch with Foley. He's going to be a long reliever, and he's going to be an emergency starter as well. I'm going to make Thornton. Is there any mop-up? I don't want to make him an emergency starter. I want him to avoid high leverage. Okay, so now we are back. We are going to check out the highlights of that game. Billy McKinney had a good game. McKinney was 2 for 3 with 5 RBI, 2 walks, and 2 home runs. Big game there for Billy McKinney. JD Martinez with another double, going 4 for 5. Vlade Guerrero was 2 for 4. And Joe Panik 1 for 2 at second base. Danny Jansen is above the 200 mark, but he went 0 for 4 in this game. Sean Reed-Foley, he kept us in the game. 4 walks, though. Again, that's not pretty. Anthony Bass, Jordan Romano, Wilmer Font finished it off, and no injuries for the Blue Jays. We're going to go back to our pitching lineups, actually, and we're going to put in Bo Bichette where he needs to be, which is at the top of the lineup. Our backup third baseman is going to be Andy Burns, since we don't have one here. And once again, Bo Bichette, top of the lineup, backup third baseman, Andy Burns. And versus backup third baseman is Andy Burns, and Bo Bichette is our shortstop. And left-hand pitching, Bo Bichette, and Andy Burns is our backup at third. Joe Panik, backup at second base. All right, now that we're all set up, we are going to face the pretty scary Garrett Cole. We have our ace on the mound with Nate Pearson. This is going to be an epic matchup. And we have a Player of the Week. Randall Grichuk earns a Player of the Week award. And we won the game, putting us into that second wildcard spot with a 1-game lead over the Cleveland Indians. We've been going on a streak here. And Randall Grichuk finishes off a strong week, 4 for 5. With no home runs, but he did hit a double. Vlade Guerrero hits his 36th of the year. Bo Bichette 0 for 5. That's, he's probably a little rusty. Guerrero 1 for 3 with a home run and a walk. JD Martinez 2 for 5. Travis Shaw another home run. Really nice game all around. Lourdes Gurriel 2 for 4. Kevin Biggio with a triple. Nate Pearson 7 strikeouts, gives up 2 home runs though. 3 runs, 5 hits, and Dolis Bassett Yamaguchi finishing it off. No injuries for us. They got a couple injuries. Luis Avilan and Aaron Hicks both go down. And so we do have a Player of the Week announcement. It is Monday again, so we've simmed a week already. I know it goes by quickly when we don't have the minor leagues. And we see here that Randall Grichuk earning a Player of the Week. He is now up to 33 home runs on the season. If you actually kind of look at his overall stats compared to last year, really the big differences are here in the OBP and slugging. And while the OBP is quite low, getting it over 300 is a fairly big deal, but also the 483 slugging really helps him out. 34 doubles, 33 home runs. He has still fewer games than he played last year. So really nice work here for Randall Grichuk. He's really proven to be an effective player. All right, back to the sim. We have here Chase Anderson has returned from the injured list, facing Ranger Suarez, or Ranger Suarez, of the Philadelphia Phillies, where he's going to interleague play. We are at home, so we will have a DH there. And that's going to happen in two days. So I'm going to actually sim Monday. And here we go. Today, Ranger Suarez versus Chase Anderson. And we lose 7-6. Was Anderson rusty is the question. Anderson was pretty rusty, 3 2/3. Unfortunately, there was nowhere to send him for a rehab assignment. 3 2/3, 5 runs, not great. Trent Thornton was solid in relief, striking out 5 in 2 innings. Wilmer Font gave up a run. Ryan Baracki ultimately took the loss. This looks like an extra inning game to me. Yeah, 16 innings. That was not good for the pitching staff, getting almost everybody out there. Some work. Shun Yamaguchi did not give up a home run. But, the relief corps was pretty good, coming in early and then going to 15 innings, and it was ultimately Ryan Baracki who took the loss. Bo Bichette had 8 at-bats, and he had 2 hits, so that's good to see. 2 hits for Vlade Guerrero, including a home run and a double. JD Martinez with 3 hits, including another double. Billy McKinney, couple hits. Danny Jansen, 1 hit for 7. Kevin Biggio, 2 for 6. Lourdes Gurriel, 1 for 5. And Travis Shaw with a couple of hits. including a double. Bichette did hit a double as well, and McKinney hit a triple. Okay, that's disappointing. A 7-6 loss in extra innings, 16 innings. Let's hope we get a good start here from Hyunjin Ryu to really give that bullpen a day off. Here we are against Jake Arrieta. And it's a win, so that keeps us in the wildcard spot. Minnesota is surging. They are half a game back of us in the wildcard spot. And checking out the box score here, we've got Bo Bichette with a hit and a couple of walks. JD Martinez with another double and 2 hits. Vlade Guerrero with a couple of hits. Lourdes Gurriel with 2 hits, including a double. Randall Grichuk with a hit. And Joe Panik and Caleb Joseph with hits, including Joseph's second home run. On the mound, Ryu gave us 5 innings. I was hoping for better. Reed Foley gave up a couple runs. Font gave up a couple runs. Bass gave up a couple runs. I think everybody in that bullpen is just exhausted. But thankfully, nobody was hurt. And another 7-6 game, though. So we've got a day off here before we face the Yankees again. That's going to be interesting. So here we are. Let's take a look at any messages that may have come in. Nothing directed towards us, but the Minnesota Twins won, giving them that tie with us for the wild card spot. So here we are tied for the wild card spot. It's Friday, September 18th, and we're facing Domingo Germán and the Yankees with Tanner Roark on the mound for the Blue Jays. And it's a loss. We have a personal message. Manager Dennis Holmberg retires. He's the manager of the Gulf Coast League Blue Jays, and he has been literally a mainstay of the Blue Jays organization for years and decades. I've met Holmberg a couple of times when I've been down at Bluefield, because he managed there for many years, moving to the Gulf Coast League, I think to be a little closer to home than he had been in the past, to cut down on his travel. So best wishes to Dennis Holmberg on his retirement, at least in OOTP. And let's take a look at the box score of this game. Offensively, we had some hits, including home runs from Lourdes Gurriel and Kevin Biggio, double from Vladimir Guerrero, but Tanner Roark was just bad Tanner. Bad Tanner. There's good Tanner and bad Tanner, and that was definitely bad Tanner. So now another of these premier matchups, Garrett Cole and Nate Pearson. Again, fighting for that second wildcard spot. We've fallen out of it. We're now a game back. And the result was another loss. Couldn't really solve Garrett Cole. Just 3 hits for the Blue Jays, including a home run by Bo Bichette, a double by Joe Panik, and a single from J.D. Martinez, and that was pretty much it. Nate Pearson got hit fairly hard, giving up a couple home runs, 5 strikeouts, 6 runs in 4 innings. Shun Yamaguchi has been really good since he's come up from the minors. Dolis and Anthony Bass finishing it off. The bullpen doing well for those last pretty much 5 innings. But the Jays lost again, and we're now 2 back of that second wildcard spot. All right, let's finish that series against the New York Yankees. We've got a couple lefties on the mound, J. Happ and Anthony Kay. And away we go. And it's a 3rd loss in a row to the Yankees, dropping us 3 games back of Minnesota in that second wildcard spot. We're still 10 games above 500. Our minor league organization, again, has not really moved. Again, that's not a big surprise. Once Nate Pearson lost his rookie eligibility or lost his prospect eligibility, we were obviously going to drop quite a bit. And one reason for the Twins' surge, Josh Donaldson is Player of the Week. He hasn't had a great year, but he was definitely turning it on at the right time. So let's take a look at this box score. Giancarlo Stanton, 2 for 3 with 2 home runs. So that was, a pretty big nail in the coffin here. Anthony Kay got roughed up. Sean Reed Foley gave up a run. Dolis gave up a run. Trent Thornton gave up a run. Wilmer Font gave up 3. So, yeah, the pitching staff just, they need a day off. We're going to go to Boston for next week and the next week so that, hopefully hopefully pitching at Fenway will be a little better. Bo Bichette 2 hits, so he's come back, just 1-0 for after coming back from the injured list. Danny Jansen, a couple hits here. JD Martinez with a home run. He's starting to produce a little more since joining the Blue Jays. Still below average, and for somebody who's basically a DH, not the type of offensive production we want to see. And I believe in his contract he has an option. I think it's a player option or an opt-out. Yeah, he's got an opt-out for after this season, so I'm kind of hoping he does opt out. All right, let's finish the day. We're going to move on to our next game. Here we are back here. We're still 3 games back behind the Twins in the second wildcard hunt. And we have facing Lance Lynn, Chase Anderson, Fenway Park. Here we go. Fenway's one of my favorite parks. I lived in Boston for a couple of years, and I've visited Fenway several times, and beautiful, beautiful place. So Santiago Espinal can come off the IL, but at this point, I think I'm just going to send him back to AAA. Andy Burns can go down to the minors. I'm just going to keep him around a little bit. We're probably not going to need him too much, but we can bring up our good friend Santiago Espinal for a second. I did get a little bit distracted. I was seeing here that on the waiver wire, Asher Wojciechowski is available. He actually came up with the Blue Jays. That's just showing me the batters. Wojciechowski, he was drafted by the Blue Jays, and he's been kicking around, and not too bad with Baltimore, but the movement there, that movement rating is definitely not what we're looking for as we try to rebuild the team. Adam Wainwright is on waivers, and that's very interesting. I think his contract is going to be, it's not too bad. He's going to be a free agent, so no real reason. His stuff has sort of deteriorated a little bit. Former Blue Jay Joe Smith is also on waivers. He's doing okay, just a high ERA, but the strikeouts aren't where you want to see them. Catcher Chris Ionetta is on waivers. Contact is 30, so it's not going to really do much. Sergio Romo and Tony Cingrani. All right, so we did win our last game, but we were actually eliminated from the playoffs. Because, actually we're not eliminated from the playoffs, but we're still 3 games back. I was seeing these two guys. These guys one of these two teams have clinched the West Division, so the other one is going to be the first wildcard position, but they both have sort of clinched. One of the two of these guys have clinched the division, so they've got a playoff spot locked up. We're still in the race. We don't have that E next to our name, and we're just going to check out the box score of our opener against the Boston Red Sox. Vlade Guerrero, 2 for 4 with a home run. Travis Shaw also with a home run. He's been a nice sign for the Blue Jays. JD Martinez, 2 for 5. Randall Grichuk, 2 for 4, 4 RBI. He's got 2 doubles in this one. Bo Bichette, 2 for 4 with a triple and 3 runs. Panic and Joseph each with hits. Gurriel was quiet. Chase Anderson, much better start, rebounding from coming off that bad start in his first one off the injured list. No injuries. Vlade Guerrero's player of the game, and we take a look at Hyunjin Ryu against Colin McHugh. And in this one, we lose 4-1. We just can't get the offense going against McHugh. Just 2 hits, 5 walks, though, and we couldn't really capitalize on those walks. Ryu was okay. He wasn't great. 3 runs in 5 2/3. Anthony Bass gave up a run, and Baraki finished it off. Not much offense. 3 hits, as we said. Gurriel, Biggio, and Guerrero, with Biggio hitting a double. And we face Eduardo Rodriguez against Tanner Roark. I always kind of hold my nose in a Tanner Roark start. Now we are 3 games back, and I think the Angels have that tiebreaker. So we got to giddy up here. Come on, Tanner. Good Roark. Good Roark. It was good Roark on display. he pitched 5 1/3. He gave up 8 hits, but he only gave up a run. Bullpen really came through this time. Ken Giles didn't, for some reason, come in. I guess they wanted to use him in a higher leverage position. Wade Davis finished it off, or he was getting in trouble maybe in that last inning. Eduardo Rodriguez was actually even better, striking at 12 for the Red Sox. But as we've seen in today's game of baseball, strikeouts don't mean a lot. Blue Jays managed to win, scoring 2 runs, 2 hits for Martinez, 2 hits for McKinney, home run for Travis Shaw, and that was the deciding factor in this game. So maybe not a lot of strikeouts for the Blue Jays pitching and a lot of strikeouts for the hitters, but they come out on top. And now we move on to Cleveland Indians. We're going to face the Indians facing Carlos Carrasco against Nate Pearson. And we're still 3 games back of that second wildcard spot, but the Indians have kind of moved into Indians and the Twins are sort of in a tie for that second spot, so it's going to be really rough trying to overcome that. And a win opening the Cleveland Indians, and Nate Pearson looks like he was just dominant in this one. Pearson went 5 2/3. Unfortunately, only 5 2/3. I'm glad he's not injured, but no runs. Wilmer Fott goes another 3 1/3, keeping the Indians off the board. Lots of offense here. Billy McKinney, huge game here. Home run, triple, no double, so no cycle for Billy McKinney. 2 hits for Grichuk, home run for Panic, home run for Guerrero, 2 hits for Bichette, including a double, 2 hits for Gurriel, including 2 singles. Great game here. Billy McKinney's player of the game. Big game. That gets us within 2 of that second wildcard spot. And we go with Anthony Kay against Mike Clevenger. And it's another win, a 3-2 game, low-scoring game, but the Blue Jays do manage to squeak it out. Bo Bichette 3 for 4, home run number 40 for Vlade Guerrero. Big game for Guerrero, and Randall Grichuk also went deep, going 1 for 3 with a home run. Kay walked 3, struck out 4, but gave up just 2 runs, and Wade Davis and Ken Giles finish it off. Wade Davis has really been a nice acquisition since he came over from Colorado. 2.31 ERA, 37 strikeouts, 13 walks, and 35 innings. Really nice work. Basically, he's actually probably doing a very similar job to what he did in Colorado, but without playing in Colorado, maybe that ERA is a little bit lower. And today is going to be the last day of this sim. It's the regular season ending. We are out of the playoffs or not. No, we can still tie for that second wildcard spot. We have 1 game left, and it's Chase Anderson going on the mound. Are we going to actually let Chase Anderson start? Do we have anybody else rested? We do have Hyunjin Ryu mostly rested. The question is, do we want to do that, go all in? Let's go all in. You know what? We're going to play the game, and since it is the last regular season game, we're going to play the game, and we're going to sort of do an all-in type of attitude. So we're going to have Chase Anderson ready, but I'm going to go with... that's our starting lineup here. Where's our pitcher? There he is. I'm going to go with Hyunjin Ryu, who's a little tired. But it's going to kind of be a committee type thing. I'm going to try to get maybe once or twice through the lineup with Ryu, and then bring in Anderson as the first guy off. He's cold. So if we are winning, I think we may, winning by a bunch or a few, we may go with a little bit, go with Anderson and see what happens. But otherwise, we are going to look. Now, in terms of our bullpen, Giles is a little tired, so we may have to save him. Romano is probably going to be one of our go-to guys. Sean Reed-Foley is probably not going to be a go-to guy. Dolis is probably going to be a go-to guy, and Anthony Bass, Shun Yamaguchi. Bass, not so much, but Yamaguchi and Romano probably are going to be our late game high leverage guys. Dolis will be kind of number 3 on the list. And Anderson is going to be a bulk type of guy. So Anderson will be our guy for really any, if we need a bunch of innings out of our pitcher. And so here we go. We've got Bo Bichette leading off. We want to take a pitch. We want to, let him throw a little bit. We want Bo to see what he's got. And it's a 68-degree game here in Cleveland. And McKenzie with the pitch. And he throws a strike. So first pitch strike. All right, we're going to now let him swing away. And he works the count to 2-1. And he hits the ball to shortstop. Throw to first. Lots of time to get Bichette. And hard hit ball. But that retires him. So we've got Randall Grichuk up to the plate. He's got a 2-1 count as well. And he hits it up the middle, in the air to center field, but it's brought in by Allen. And leaving us Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He's got a 1-2 count. The feared slugger of the Blue Jays. Hits it the other way, and it drops in. That looks like it's going to be a base hit for Vlade Guerrero, and he's on first to give the Blue Jays their first hit and first base runner. Coming up to the plate is J.D. Martinez. J.D. Martinez, we're going to give him the go-ahead to swing away, and he hits it hard to the gap in right center. That bounces. And Vladimir is trying to score. We're going to take a chance here. And he does score, so that was a little bit choppy here in the game. We've got a runner on second now with Martinez with another double. Billy McKinney up to the plate. And McKinney strikes out for the third out of the inning. Blue Jays managed to score one to take a 1-0 lead here with Hyunjin Ryu. Ryu is looking pretty good here. He's going to be tiring fairly quickly, so we're going to pitch to Jonathan VR. And wind up from the lefty Ryu. And the first hit of the game, that's to second base. And that's going to be a double, a leadoff double there for Jonathan VR. Now Ryu on the mound facing Greg Allen, the center fielder. Grounds it to third. Guerrero handles it, looks the runner back, and makes the play to first to keep VR at second base. 1 out now for Francisco Lindor. Lindor, a dangerous hitter, so we're going to kind of pitch around him. And stealing third is Jonathan VR, and the throw gets into the outfield, and that's going to tie the game. Now it's 1 ball to Francisco Lindor. We're going to continue to try to pitch around him. And Lindor pops it up on the infield. Bo Bichette is called off by second baseman Joe Panik. And he's retired for the second out of the inning. And now Jose Ramirez, slugging batter, third baseman, hitting 971 OPS on the season with 38 home runs. Another dangerous hitter. And we're working around him, and a check swing strikeout gets the inning, and it's a tie game after 1 inning, thanks to that error by Danny Jansen behind the plate. So Travis Shaw is up, and we've got a new pitcher. Logan Allen is on the mound, so it looked like McKenzie was just the opener for the Cleveland Indians. And the first pitch, or 1-ball pitch, is a pop-up to center field, and Shaw is retired. Coming up now is Danny Jansen. Danny's had a rough season. Maybe he can get on track against the lefty Allen. Nice righty-lefty matchup here. And Jansen hits a fly ball, but that looks playable. It's near the track, but Franmil Reyes catches it, so Jansen is retired. Gurriel facing Allen. Gurriel having a solid season of 25 home runs. He hits that one hard. That looks deep, but it's not deep enough to left field, and it's caught for the third out of the inning. And here is Franmil Reyes, 42 home runs for the season for Reyes. And the pitch from Ryu, it's a 1-2 pitch, and he swings and misses. Second strikeout of the day for Hyunjin Ryu. And coming up now is Jordan Luplo. And the pitch to Luplo, another strikeouts. 3 strikeouts for Ryu. And now they have Bobby Bradley. Lefty on lefty. He hits a hard line drive to right field. That's going to bounce and drop in front of the right fielder, Billy McKinney. And Cesar Hernandez, the designated hitter. We've got a runner on first, 2 outs. And he strikes him out, striking out all 3 batters who were retired this inning for Ryu. And it's a 1-1 game going to the top of the third. And here's Joe Panic. We've got a lefty hitting at third base. And again, this is kind of an all-in type of situation. We are going to go to our bench because they've got a lefty on the mound. So we're going to go to the bench and bring in Kevin Biggio. Now, we do have another player. Oh, that was dumb. Well, I should have brought in Andy Burns if I was going to go lefty-righty. But it's too late for that. And now, the stupidest move ever made, a lefty on lefty matchup with Kevin Biggio against Logan Allen. And Biggio's going to ground out to second. All right, well, hopefully we'll get a right-handed pitcher in later in the game. Okay. Well, you can take away my management card whenever you'd like. So Bo Bichette's back up, and he laces one to left field. That's going to drop in. Base hit for Bo Bichette. 1 out here now. Bichette is up. And we're going to actually do a little investigation of the catcher, Jonathan Lucroy. Let's see what he's like defensively. He's solid defensively. I'm going to go back to the game. With Randall Grichuk up, I'm going to try to do a run and hit with Bo Bichette up. A swing and a miss, and Bichette is safe. So we get a steal. That worked out very nicely. Okay, so here we go with runner on second base and Randall Grichuk at the plate. And Grichuk hits it up the middle, and it drops in. A base hit for Grichuk, and Bo Bichette stops at third. And the Jays have runners on the corners with Vlade Guerrero. Guerrero, big bopper for the Jays. And Grichuk is picked off at first base. I don't believe this. What are you doing, Randall? What are you doing, Randall? And that's the inning as Vlade Guerrero strikes out. All right, Kevin Biggio is going to play second base. Yep. Let's get her going. Okay, Ryu is starting to tire a little bit, but we can at least get another inning out of him. He's facing catcher Jonathan Lucroy. Lucroy hits it to short. Bichette picks it up, makes the throw to first, but it gets away from first baseman Travis Shaw. It's a high throw, and Lucroy gets on. This defense is just killing the Blue Jays today. Now Ryu has a runner on second base to deal with leadoff man Jonathan Villar at the plate. And Villar grounds it down the line at short, or at third, and he's going to beat it out with the throw being not in time. A great play by Guerrero to pick up the ball, but that is going to be another runner on for the Cleveland Indians. Now we've got runners on first and third, nobody out. A line drive base hit to right field. McKinney comes up, gets the ball in quickly, but runners on first and second now, 2-1 lead for those Cleveland Indians. We're going to go here and get somebody up in the bullpen. That's right, Chase Anderson. Chase Anderson is up in the pen. Ryu is going to try to pitch around Francisco Lindor. We've got runners on first and second. Hit to short to second for no outs. The throw is botched. The defense is all over the place today. Ryu is just being let down. Bringing the infield in with slugger Jose Ramirez and the plate of the plate. They get one. Bichette made that play after the error right before. That's just, ugly. We got to keep that infield in against Fernando Reyes. And one out now. Bases still loaded. There's a fly ball. That's a high fly ball caught in left field by Lourdes Gurriel. And the throw home is not in time. And Allen scores at the plate. 2 outs now, but they do have that go-ahead. It's not the go-ahead run, but some insurance. It's 3-1, and Lourdes Gurriel is out of the game. That's going to bring Derek Fisher in. Just want to check he can play left field pretty well. All right. So Derek Fisher is going to come into the game to play left field. Wow. Bad defense, injuries. It's all just coming apart for the Blue Jays here. We've got 2 outs now. It's probably going to be the last inning for Ryu, who strikes out the batter to end the inning. All right, here's J.D. Martinez. The Blue Jays definitely need to get back on the board. And it's a ground ball to short for J.D. Martinez, and he is out. Here in the top of the 4th, Billy McKinney is up to the plate. Facing the lefty, he's going to go the other way with it, but it's a high fly ball that has plenty of time for the left fielder Luplow to get there, and he is retired. Travis Shaw, another left-handed hitter, laces one to the right side, but it is caught by the first baseman Bradley, and he is retired. 4th inning's done. Here come the Blue Jays into the field, and we're going to go with Chase Anderson instead of Hyunjin Ryu. 3 innings out of Ryu. He pitched pretty well, unfortunately. Was really let down by his defense. And here comes Anderson facing Bobby Bradley. Bobby Bradley hits it hard to right, and that's gone. No chance there. Second pitch, home run. This is starting to get out of hand, facing Cesar Hernandez. He grounds it to short, and that is 1 out, thankfully. Facing Jonathan Lucroy, righty-righty. That's a line drive to left field, and it falls in front of our new left fielder, Derek Fisher. And a fly ball to right, also coming in and dropping. And they're going to have that ball to third base way in time to beat the catcher, Jonathan Lucroy. I don't know why they sent the catcher. That was a pretty hard hit ball. 2 outs, we will take it. And here comes Greg Allen coming to the plate. And Allen hits a fly ball. That's fairly shallow. And it is caught by Fisher to end the inning. So no runs in that 4th inning, bottom of the 4th, for the Indians. And here comes the pitch to Jansen, and that's a strike. That's a 1-2 count to Jansen. He's going to put it in play, hit a weak ground ball to second base, and he is out. Derek Fisher is first at bat of the game. He works the count to 2-2 and swings and misses, striking out on strike 3. Here's Kevin Biggio. 1-2 count and strikes out. Strike 3 for Biggio. 4-1 Indians going into the bottom of the 5th, and here is Francisco Lindor facing Chase Anderson. 1-2 pitch, and it's a soft ground ball to Vlade Guerrero. No chance to make the play at first base. Lindor with an infield hit there. Here is Jose Ramirez. We're going to put the infield at double play depth. We are going to try to pitch around Jose Ramirez. Here it is 3-2 count. And it's a fly ball to center field. And it looks like it's over the head of Randall Grichuk. And that's going to look like it's going to be a triple, driving in another run. This game is getting ugly now. It's 5-1 for the Cleveland Indians. And coming up is Franmil Reyes. And he strikes out. And pitching to Jonathan Lucroy. And he hits a hard line drive into the gap in left center field. Picking it up is Billy McKinney. McKinney gets the ball into Biggio. And that's going to score another run. It is 6-1 for the Indians. And Anderson continues to be on the mound. Bobby Bradley. And a line drive to short, and Bichette makes the catch. That's 2 outs now. Here's Cesar Hernandez. 1-2 pitch, and strikes him out. And a couple more runs for the Indians, and it's now 6-1 going to the top of the 6th. Bo Bichette. Bichette's 1 for 2 today. And first pitch is drilled up the middle. That's going to be another base hit for Bichette. And he returns to first, bringing up Randall Grichuk. And Grichuk rips it down the right field line. That is gone. A 2-run home run for Randall Grichuk. That's bringing the game back to a 3-run game. Bichette scores. Grichuk is going to score. And that brings up Vlade Guerrero Jr. Still nobody out here in the 6th inning. Guerrero rips the ball into the right field side, going the other way with it, getting a base hit for the big third baseman. And that's his 200th hit, a big milestone there for Vlade Guerrero Jr., who is hitting .319 on the season with 40 home runs. And now is J.D. Martinez, the veteran slugger, Blue Jays traded for, and he strikes out. Billy McKinney up, and McKinney hits a weak fly ball. That's shallow to center field, and Allen makes the catch nicely. And Travis Shaw, he's struggled here in this game. He hits into the shift and is retired. Blue Jays do get a couple runs on the home run, and they go to the bottom of the 6th. Chase Anderson on the mound facing Jonathan Lucroy. And we've got a 1-strike count. Hit the other way. Biggio comes up with it and makes the play. That's 1 out. Jonathan Villar, the leadoff man, is up. And he hits a base hit. They're just ripping these line drives all over the field. That is a base hit for Villar. And we're going to go to the bullpen and just get somebody up. We're going to get Dolis up in the pen. And we're also going to get our lefty. Where is our lefty? Ryan Baraki. He's a little bit tired. We're not going to get him up just yet. Yeah. And we'll get Yamaguchi up. All right, here we go. Anderson facing Greg Allen with 1 out. Now, Allen's been pretty cold. And here we go. First pitch, another base hit, hard line drive to left field. And they get the ball back into third base to prevent an extra base from VR. And here they're facing Lindor. We're going to put the infield corners, double play depth here. And we're going to pitch around Lindor. He hits a hard line drive, but that is picked up on the fly by Derek Fisher there in left field. And facing Jose Ramirez, we've got 2 outs. Don't need to have a double play depth, but we are going to shift the infield. We're going to shift right. There we go. And we're going to pitch around Jose Ramirez. We don't want him to pick up a home run and add another 3 runs like he just did. So the best laid plans. And we're now losing 9-3. That's lovely. All right. Well, any emotional investment I've got in this one is pretty much gone. All right. With that home run and that walk, we are going to get Shun Yamaguchi into the game. All right. Let's get this guy over with. Let's put this game out of its misery and finish that season. All right. Strikeout for Sean Yamaguchi, and we go to the top of the 7th now. Just 3 innings left in the season, it looks like, for the Blue Jays. And here comes Danny Jansen. Ground ball up the middle, picked up by the second baseman. And he is not out. A base hit. Good job for Danny Jansen picking up a hit in his final game. Derek Fisher up. And he's going to strike out looking. Way to go, Derek. Kevin Biggio. They've struggled with this lefty here today. Ground ball to short. And it's an error. The Blue Jays pick up a little bit of luck. Let's see if they can do something with this. With Bo Bichette now up to the bat. Bichette's had a good game. He's gone 2 for 3. But he hits a weak ground ball to second and is retired. They got runners on second and third for Randall Grichuk, who has a home run today. Grichuk hits a hard ball the other way, but it is going to be out of the park. A second home run for Randall Grichuk. He is single-handedly keeping the Blue Jays in this game. It's 9-6 now for Cleveland. And that brings up Vlade Guerrero. And they get to the bullpen now, so that's a good sign. They've struggled with Logan Allen, and it's really good to get to the bullpen. But Vlade hits one to the wall, but is retired. And here's Yamaguchi facing Bobby Bradley. 2-2 count, strikes him out. Yamaguchi has been quite the strikeout artist since coming over from Japan. While he does tend to give up home runs, he also has been known to strike out quite a few batters. And Cesar Hernandez hits a lazy fly ball to center field, and that's caught by Grichuk. 2 outs in the inning, and that brings up the catcher, Jonathan Lucroy. Here's the pitch to Lucroy. And it looks like it's popped up. Danny Jansen gets it, and that's a 1-2-3 7th inning for the Blue Jays. 3-run difference here. We are in the top of the 8th inning with J.D. Martinez leading it off. Martinez, 2 balls on the batter, and he hits it hard. He takes advantage of that hitter's count and drills it to left field for a single. Martinez gets on base to start off this 8th inning. The Blue Jays are starting to get that offense up, and 2-strike pitch gets away, and Martinez hustles up to second base. Blue Jays now have a runner in scoring position. Billy McKinney has a 1-2 count. And the pitch to McKinney. And he strikes out again. McKinney has not looked good. But that brings up Travis Shaw. Travis Shaw has 29 home runs this season. He's looking to make it an even 30. A 1-2 count, but Shaw cannot convert. He strikes out on a cutter, and that brings up Danny Jansen. Danny Jansen with a hit today, a infield single. He hits a weak ball to third base, and Jansen hustling down the line for another infield single. And the Blue Jays now have runners on first and third with Derek Fisher at the plate. Fisher strikes out again. That's 3 for today. And that strands 2 runners on. They're going to the bottom of the 8th. It's 9-6 Cleveland. And full count, 2 VR. Here's the pitch from Yamaguchi. And it's ball 4. Misses outside on that one. We've got a runner on first and a dangerous runner with VR with 45 stolen bases on first base. And they get a called third strike to get 1 out. Now facing Francisco Lindor. And another strikeout looking for Yamaguchi. That's 2 outs. And facing Jose Ramirez. And VR takes a stolen base as Danny Jansen couldn't get a handle on the pitch. 1-1 count to Ramirez. We've got 2-2 now. And he strikes out. Striking out the side. Yamaguchi gets through the 8th. And the Blue Jays are down to their last chance. Here's Kevin Biggio to lead off the inning. We've got a new pitcher, Emmanuel Clace. And the pitch. Weak ground ball to short. Biggio Looks like he beats that out. And the Jays have their leadoff batter on base. Here they are trying to hold on to their season final game of the year with the top of the order coming up. Here is Bo Bichette. Bichette up the middle, that's a base hit, and leadoff hitter stops at second base. That's Biggio stopping at second. Runners on first and second with Randall Grichuk. And the pitch to Grichuk. It's hit to short. He's going to play to second and then to first for the double play. And Vlade Guerrero comes up trying to keep the season alive with a runner on third base for him. And Guerrero grounds it to short. The throw by Lindor. And that is the game. That is the season for the Toronto Blue Jays. They lose 9-6 despite 2 home runs from Randall Grichuk, who was 3 for 5. And that's it. Randall Grichuk 3 for 5, driving in 5 runs, so that's an achievement. And Bo Bichette, my first stolen base actually in a game. And we're going to wrap things up there. So thank you very much for joining us. We're going to have a season wrap up, and to get the post-season or the off-season work in place in our next episode, because we're not just doing one season. We're going to wrap this up next week, and we'll see you soon. Thanks very much. I'm JayBlue at Jays From Away on Twitter, and thanks to GM Games for hosting us on their YouTube channel. Have a great day, and we'll see you soon.